So we've seen how this works for smaller companies and for larger companies. But as I said before, talent management is really about people. And people aren't limited to corporations. People are also part of all types of organizations. So I want to give you a different view of another kind of organization who has some great talent management initiatives going on.
The first thought I had when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and there's my adoring husband sitting in the corner taking notes in the room, and I said to the doctor, I have a son at home, I have a 13-year-old, I need time. And at the same time, I'm hearing myself and I'm thinking, he hears this every time he gives this diagnosis. A mother pleading for time.
What I remember is that we were shaking. When I got the diagnosis, they asked me to take a look at a list of different places. And I say, I don't even need to see the list. I know I want to go to USC.
The day I came here for the very first time was the day I was diagnosed. You've got to make a decision about, what kind of surgery and what kind of chemo. And so you want to get informed really quickly. And I couldn't get informed fast enough.
I always knew that education was more powerful than anything else. The fact that I am so open to learn new things, I think that's what has helped me make the right decisions in my journey.
USC is up to incredibly important work everywhere across the institution. And in every corner, there are people who are supporting the research and the instruction of education and all of the administrative wraparounds. And we don't want anything in the way of that threading of that needle. So we really can't afford any subpar performance in any role anywhere. We have a beautiful mission at USC. It's the development of human beings and society as a whole through the cultivation and development of the human mind and spirit. To the degree that we can support our employees and empower them and strengthen them and inspire them to reach their highest levels of potential. We are to be advantaged, they're to be advantaged, society as a whole is to be advantaged. What we have the opportunity to do at USC is to build a true learning organization where everyone is learning all the time.
I have a lot of things in mind that I would like to do professionally. I started as a receptionist, then assistant to executive director, then project specialist, so I just want to continue growing on the ladder.
For someone like Giuseppe, if she wants to advance in her career and move from an individual contributor into managing or directing a department in the future, we have a whole online management development program that we unveiled in our Cornerstone system. And so she has an amazing way to kind of plug into an entire system of support for her and her career goals.
I think that really opens the doors to think that I can grow. I came to USC 7 years ago, and I want to stay and I want to grow.
I am incredibly excited that we've been able to bring in this Cornerstone platform. It is incredibly robust, and we have never had anything even close to it in the past. So what it allows us to do is to deliver very powerful, very targeted, very well managed learning of all types, live training, online learning, you name it. We have an incredible library of learning assets that are now at the fingertips of every single USC employee, faculty, and staff 24/7. My team and I used to be able to impact about 10% of the USC employee population. And now we can touch hundreds and thousands of USC employees, as many as we want, anytime we want, and in any fashion that we want.
I'm in constant training, I feel. Every day I'm in constant training. And if there is any opportunity to learn, I'm going to take it.
There's an opportunity virtually every day to experience someone else's area, and everyone's sharing all this information all the time. I feel so grateful to be in a place that has such a culture of learning.
Let's welcome up Mary Campbell. So Mary, why don't we start by talking about the incredible rise that USC has been on over the last few years?
Yeah, very, very happy to do that. We enjoyed one of the most rapid ascents in the history of higher education under our previous president, and our current president and provost have just raised the bar to a whole new level. And 3 years into their leadership, what they have laid down in the vision is that we are reaching to be one of the global preeminent research universities in this century. Now that's a tall order, and he said that he would be moving this next leg of the journey at a sprinter's pace, and so far he has been absolutely good on his word. So what we've got is an industry realm that is in complete flux because higher ed really never had a lot of competition for generations in terms of challenging traditional models. Well, now we have it in spades. Online learning has transformed and blown the doors off of some of the traditional models. Those of us who were old and have been around a while didn't think we would ever have to bend to those curves. But you talked about it all day today so far. We have an emergent generation of college-bound and college-educated professionals who have different demands, they have different learning styles, and they have a whole set of different expectations around their experience in higher education. And then we have, of course, important research going on. This discovery in science and technology needs to ramp up in terms of speed, and it's major research universities where the discoveries are happening. So it's a real accelerated pace. And traditionally, environments that aren't necessarily accustomed to that rate of speed. So one of the things that's great is it's really put a focus on performance of everyone in the organization, where historically one of the challenges in higher ed is we focus on the faculty and the students, and the infrastructure is a little bit of a back seat. And now universities everywhere are really having to kind of wake up to figure out how do you extract absolute top performance out of everyone in the organization, top to bottom, because the rising cost of education is just not something that can continue.
So you're trying to reinvent work while the industry is being reinvented around you.
Absolutely. It's a perfect storm, if you will. But, you know, I've been in higher ed my whole career, and I'm glad to see this perfect storm finally emerge. I've been trying to crack the hard ground in higher ed around some of the infrastructure challenges and the lack of, sort of optimized processes for the important people who are supporting the academic activity. I mean, because that's why we exist. And there are places where it's really strong and really efficient and effective, and there are other places where not so much the case. So we're really shining a light on every part of the institution so that we can optimize performance.
Now, you work at an academic institution, but you were a teacher yourself.
Yes.
So
yeah,
why are you so passionate about learning and the learning initiatives you're doing there?
Well, I'll start by saying I'm an academic at heart. If you could have a job getting degrees over and over again and get paid for that, that would absolutely have been my choice profession in life. But I love teaching. I taught for many, many years in higher ed, and I've been in administration for 13 now. So I love working in a university. It's an incredibly rich, vibrant, and alive place where the future is unfolding literally on all fronts of society. And so as an organizational professional, I care very, very deeply about the health, the strength, and the success of these organizations. And so we are not corporations. We're very, very different. And we have, sometimes kind of dismissed the fact that we need to kind of focus attention on being more efficient, more effective, more agile, and more progressive. And we frankly got away with that for many moons. And yet today we're really trying to find our own way to apply high performance practices inside the infrastructure of these important institutions. And it's a unique play, but it can be done. And it's finally really, the ground is loose for this right now. And
so how does the L&D initiative help you do that? What is it about that particular initiative that helps with that overall strategy you have?
Right. So for one example, We have been in the business under new leadership of putting in place several enterprise-wide systems of all types, financial management systems, medical record systems, et cetera. And these were things that we have not had in place. Like many of the people said, they were managing things on spreadsheets, and in universities, incredibly siloed, segmented, almost like complete rogue nations at work for many years. And so with a system in place, we, for the first time, have an infrastructure where we can get the attention of every employee in the organization. Now, the faculty actually have certain needs. They're being regulated around their research. They have certain compliance requirements, especially in California, that we need to make sure happen. But I've been at USC 13 years, and I've overseen the training and development and then the talent acquisition functional parts of the organization. And the staff that we had probably could effectively reach, as I said, about 10% year over year, just because we were doing stand and deliver training, a very good job of that, but with a small army and a very large target audience. And so now, virtually over the course of this year, we are poised to engage hundreds and thousands of employees at the same time, and now very soon link them all together so that they can really own their own learning and development. We've never been poised for that, and getting everyone involved in feeling a part of their own professional trajectory, I think has immense potential benefits for USC and institutions of this sort.
Has anything surprised you since you went live? You've been live for a few months now.
Yeah, I think, well, one of the things, there was probably a healthy resistance to, we just decided to implement systems all at once everywhere. So, one of the things I was concerned about is actually just rising above on the radar of chaos, right, of people having to, really deal with all of the change that this has meant to the fabric of the organization. But I think that we have also sort of this emergent excitement around this incredible, lofty, and bold vision. All of the academic assets that are showing up on the table. They're building new buildings right and left. They're bringing extraordinary, brilliant faculty minds to the campus. And so we all, as staff of USC, get to be a part of that story. So I think we really have, I've been a little bit surprised at how excited and easy people have taken to that. I think they realized the tsunami of technology was no longer going to bypass higher education, right, and now we're just in the business of getting good at it, which is going to take some time, I think.
And if you look ahead, what would define success for Trojan Learn?
Okay, so here is what I would love to see, and in fact, I tell my team every day. I think USC is in a unique position to get in and help lead higher education administrative effectiveness. As an organization that's really poised for progressive reinvention of higher education in the 21st century, that we figure out how to do this stuff well in these environments in a way that completely caters to the unique aspects of the academic community, which has to put that at the center of things. And so we really, really need to be viewed as an academic enabler. And if we're able to effectively sort of provide those connections, then I think there are enormous breakthroughs in performance that can happen. And I think that we're already seeing some signs of these trends across all institutions. But we're just a little behind the curve of corporate, the corporate organizations that have been at this for many, many more generations than we have been. So it's an exciting time, actually, really electrified time to be in higher ed right now. So.
Sounds fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.